I was into buying and selling of used computers. When we were introduced to the business, they said that they will provide us with government parastatals that will be supplying us.
I've been on this system since 1991.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your old non-working refrigerators and air conditioners? What about outdated phones, dead batteries, or obsolete laptops? And those car batteries, burned out light bulbs, and broken TVs? Improper disposal of these items doesn't just impact the environment, it can endanger your health and the health of others. Nigeria's growing population and technological progress have driven a surge in demand for electrical and electronic devices. But with over 133 million multidimensionally poor people, many Nigerians cannot afford new gadgets or appliances. Instead, they often buy fairly used products, commonly known as tokumbo or second-hand. This demand has created a booming market for imported EE appliances, but it has also turned Nigeria into a dumping ground for e-wastes. Over 500,000 tons of e-waste enter the country annually from Europe, China, and the US, often disguised as semi-used appliances. At Computer Village, West Africa's largest ICT accessories market in Lagos, most imported electronics end up here. It's a hub where mostly young people are involved in the sales, repair, and recycling of these devices. According to the 2024 GEM report, 3 of Africa's most active ports, Durban in South Africa, Bizet in Tunisia, and Lagos, Nigeria, are key entry points for used electronics. The report also revealed that in 2015 and 2016, Nigeria imported 71,000 tons of used electronics annually through Lagos ports, with 69% of these devices hidden in cars, buses, and trucks to evade inspection. In 2022, Nigeria generated 500,000 tons of e-waste, both locally and from imports. This makes Nigeria the highest generator in West Africa and the 3rd highest in Africa, after Egypt and South Africa.
The first person that introduced me to e-waste was Professor Sibanjo. And when he came, I was into buying and selling of used computers. So he told me that that time they have this box TV. He told me the dangers of box TV if it's not well handled. Then I brought some of people that sells it and people that discuss it. I told them that actually what this man is saying is true. Let's get involved. We were about 40 in number. We went to the courses.
I'm just a scrap buyer. We buy scrap and we sell it out. These are something like computer, DVD, phone panel, everything that concerning engine and electrics. Normally we used to go enter household. We buy from their hands and we sell it out. Sometimes there is some things that we burn it out, remove the copper or aluminum or something else. We sell it different categories.
Just look at someone like me that started so years, 30 something years ago. Minimum, I have a boys, minimum boys, I'm having like 170 something boys that work under me. Let me say those boys, they have their own family too. which is still this work we are doing. We do survive.
E-waste contains hazardous materials such as lead, mercury, beryllium, cadmium, and arsenic, as well as brominated flame retardants and polychlorinated biphenyls. This can cause irreversible health effects, including cancers, miscarriages, and neurological damage when dismantled or burned in open environments, as is common in Nigeria. These toxic substances are released into the air, soil, and water, increasing the risk of birth defects and other severe health problems. The United Nations Environment Programme reports that about 100,000 workers, including women and children, are employed in Nigeria's informal e-waste sector. Using rudimentary methods such as burning and acid bleaching in scrapyards and landfills, they expose themselves to hazardous pollutants. Mr. 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒 Mabuabu, president of the Association of Vendors of Used Computers and Allied Products, says his colleagues are dying, unaware of what is causing their deaths.
Last 2 months, I lost a friend that is into this business. He came to work on Monday. As he was standing, he fell off. Took him to General Hospital. By the time we knew it, 2 days later, he's gone. I've lost about 3 people like that since I started this. These are one of those that came and joined earlier, and they pulled out. And 3 of them have died. Nobody knew what killed them. So what we are doing, we are just playing with our lives.
There are challenges that we are facing it. Some materials that when we burn it, the smokes, that's how you'll be coughing.
The major problems are long-term restrictive problems of the lung. It makes the lung get shrunk. And when the lung gets shrunk, all the lung does is exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. We don't breathe with the lungs. People make a mistake thinking we actually breathe with the lungs. We only exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen. And the brain strictly relies on oxygen. We eventually discover they have disease, occupational disease like silicosis. Silicosis eventually generates disease, infective disease like TB. Now, they are also open to developing things like cancer earlier than every other person because of the chemicals they are inhaling that are very toxic. And why is it toxic? Because most of them results into being carbon monoxide. The exchange that takes place in human being is between carbon dioxide and oxygen. But the exchange that takes place where there's fume, burning and coal is more of carbon monoxide. And when you inhale carbon monoxide, it moves faster. And when you kept yourself exposed to this daily, it will not start first day, depending on genetical composition of people. Because one fact is established in human being. The day you clock 30 years, your lung function start decreasing by 1 liter per minute every year.
Workers in this sector often suffer from body aches, chest pain, persistent coughs, headaches, and blurred vision. Medical tests on workers who have been in the business for 3 years showed impaired lung function and high blood pressure, which experts say may lead to even more life-threatening diseases. In Computer Village, dismantling takes place along roadways, with e-waste littering the market floors. The same happens across Nigeria's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, though at varying intensities. On a larger scale, recycling activities occur in landfills, dump sites, and scrapyards. At Olusosun, Nigeria's largest landfill, over 5,000 scavengers and residents are at risk of e-waste poisoning. More than 900 kilometers from Lagos, in Kano, young boys aged 18 and below take on scrapping activities to support themselves and their families, a reflection of their harsh socio-economic reality.
Alhamdulillah, ina samun ci gaba kuma ina taimakawa kaina ta wurin bangaren karatu na da littafai da abubuwa dama. Ina jin daɗin haka kuma saboda abubuwan da suke taimakawa domin wani biyan littafi ko biyan kuɗin littafai duk sannan samu a wurin kuma alhamdulillah. To a rana mutum da iya samun 1,500 a fiye da haka ma.
Recyclers have called on the government to invest in the sector, regulate prices, and acknowledge their role in managing e-waste. However, they are often overlooked in waste management policies.
The major challenges has to do with the collections, because you can agree with me, we have a lot of informal, collectors outside there. And of course, the question you need to ask yourself, when they collect those obsolete electronics, what did they do with it? So we are still working with all the regulators, with the LOMA, the LASEPA, which has to do with the Lagos Environmental Protection Agency, the NASIRU, which is a big body that regulates the electronic waste in Nigeria, to see how they can bring all the informal collectors, into the circular economy. What I mean is that they will collect this electronic waste and bring it to the recycler to properly handle it. So the major challenge we are having, it has to do with collection, which has to channel back to the informal, collectors.
Private companies like 𝐓𝐘𝐒 and Eail have taken on the challenge of ethically recycling e-waste. While their efforts are commendable, the private sector cannot keep up with the e-waste generation rates, leaving Nigeria's e-waste problem unresolved.
Government, this is our country, we have nowhere to go. We have a lot of boys that they only depend on this our work. Let them create a factory, a lot of company. Like, let them create a lot of company in our own country. I don't say they should go to any neighboring. In our country, we can do it. Yes, we can do it. It will create more jobs for the youth. You can see that boy that is following me with holding my. I'm not happy, but I just have to he's a graduate. You understand? Because no work to do. You have to come and join my work by force. I have them like that, like 3 or 4. They are graduates. I sponsor them to go to school. You understand? Because I am not that, I don't have a lot. The little I have, I do. But if I have a lot, I'll build my own company.
We should enlighten our people more into giving to proper collectors, and those improper collectors should come and be trained so that the cycle will be proper and not today is coming to me, tomorrow is going to the Chinese or the Indians. So we don't, right now Nigerians don't have a standard in collection of e-waste.
Until proper systems are in place, thousands of Nigerians remain exposed to e-waste hazards, living on borrowed time.